Hey guys, so I had a great question from one of my subscribers, and it was about selling the idea of a food product or the food product itself to a bigger brand. And how does that work, and what exactly does that take? So I'm going to cover that really quick on this video, Now Marketing Food Online. Hey guys, all right, so sorry about the little bit of noise. I'm actually here today in the shop. We have a lot of orders headed out. It is Monday morning first thing. So I wanted to do this really quick video. I had a question from one of our subscribers in regards to the idea similar to the Justin's nut butter that we did. We did a little kind of mini documentary, if you will, about the success of his company and how he actually had an opportunity to sell his product for a ridiculous amount of money. $240 million, I believe it was. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. To another company, to a bigger brand that purchased his product and his brand. He started his company going to farmers markets, and he started locally, just like everyone, just like I did, and I'm sure just like you were probably doing. But within a matter of just a few years, it began to kind of gain traction. And it took him quite a while. It wasn't something that happened overnight. Trust me, guys, having a food business, being very successful, is not something that happens that quickly. So I had the subscriber ask a question about, hey, how do you approach a big brand company if you have a great product or you have a product idea? Is it something that they'll buy outright? So it's kind of a tricky little thing. And I'm going to explain to you some of the basics on how this does work. So the thing about Justin's Nut Butter is, of course, you have to have a foundation of sales. You got to have a sales history. The idea of approaching a company with basically an idea for a product that's not been sold and doesn't really have a history of sales. You don't have a following on Facebook. You don't have a following on social media. You haven't really built up a brand per se, and you just want to approach them with an idea. Normally that doesn't go over very, very well, okay? And the reason why that is most of these big billion-dollar food companies have R&D departments. These are research and development departments that come up with food product ideas. And a lot of times, believe it or not, they actually have some of their researchers head out to farmers markets across the country, believe it or not. They'll go to some of these little niche mom-and-pop grocery stores, and they'll also check to see what are trends, what are a lot of their existing consumers interested in, and they'll actually have polls and they'll do surveys, and they will literally check some of the customers that they already have on hand that are already trusting their product. Sorry about that. Trying to get that all set up there. There you go. Already on hand to check and see what is the most popular type of product, and is it something that they can improve on, and they'll kind of do research and development within the company itself. So the idea for a product to be purchased like a Justin's Nut Butter, when the company itself was purchased, it really wasn't just the product. He had multiple products, multiple flavors. The concept, the thing about his product in particular, the concept itself with the different flavor profiles at the time that he came out in the market was something that's relatively new, and that was really appealing. And the idea that he already had a sales history, he began to evolve. His packaging evolved as well. And the one unique thing that's really, really cool about his particular product is now is that it's offered in these like to-go packets, and they're kind of like a tear. When it first came out, it was something, again, that was very new, but tearing off the top, and you can kind of squeeze it in your mouth. It's kind of a to-go type of thing. It wasn't a big, huge jar of peanut butter or almond butter, but it was a great concept. The idea was good. So packaging of the product, in some instances, actually is a huge selling point. If it's something that's new to market, something that hasn't been done before, or it's kind of outside the box, if you want to say, that is a big factor when a company looks at a product to purchase, or they want to purchase the entire company, which owns the product, of course, as he did with his business. So the one thing you want to keep in mind is not only the product itself, but how are you packaging it, and how can that be unique unto itself and be almost like a selling point if you approach a company. Another thing you want to keep in mind is, from a legal standpoint, once you have a great product that you've been selling for a while and you believe that it can be something that can be sold to a bigger company, you want to kind of have a lawyer with you. You want to have some legal advice as to how to approach them when you want to offer the idea, okay? It's similar to the concept of a provisional patent. It's similar to the concept of bringing a raw patent to market and bringing it to a company and saying, hey, I got this great idea and here it is. And you know what? Go ahead and take a look at it and let me know if you're interested. Because if you don't have any legal, so they're not going to have some type of legal protection for yourself, and the company in essence can actually take the idea and maybe change it slightly, but then the idea that you've presented to them becomes something unique unto themselves, and they end up getting a patent or they end up getting something to protect the concept. Of course, when it comes to food, you can't necessarily copyright or patent a recipe, but the process to make it, as I mentioned in another one of my videos, the process to make the product and the type of packaging can be copyrighted and can actually be patented. Actually, not copyrighted. So you want to just be really careful about presenting an idea if you don't have yourself protected from a legal standpoint. So definitely look into that. One of the big factors when you want to present a food product to a corporation is the sales history. As I mentioned just a couple seconds ago, you want to make sure that you have a product that you can show has been selling like crazy. And the reason being is that most of these companies will not invest hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in a food product that doesn't have a proven track record of sales, okay? And the reason why is, of course, is if you come to them and say, look, I can show you I've got sales, I've been online, maybe it's on Amazon, maybe it's on eBay, wherever it may be, or your own website, and you've been selling hundreds of thousands of units a year or even millions of units a year, when you present that product, that adds a lot of validity and a lot of sales history to your presentation. And of course, being that you're going to present the product, the next step is you got to have a really professionally done presentation. When you want to pitch this product, you can't necessarily pick up the phone and say, hi, Nabisco or Kraft Foods, hey, I've got a great product, it sells a lot, would you be interested in it? That's not really necessarily the way they make decisions based on those types of interactions. You want to have a really well thought out presentation of the product, a sample, a demo of the product, of course. And it's almost like, in a sense, like if you've ever seen the show Shark Tank, when you stand up in front of a company of corporate executives for a company that does food and they're interested in your food product, you want to make sure that you are completely professional in how you present it. Know your numbers, know your margins, know your costs. That is something that the companies will definitely look at. And your packaging, every aspect of that product, you need to know like the back of your hand. And whenever they ask you a question, no matter what it may be, you better be prepared to actually give out that information exactly as how it is. Because the other due diligence that the company will do is that if you begin to start spewing out numbers and you spewing out margins, they're going to go back and check all of this information, of course, and they want to make sure everything that you just told them in the presentation is exactly matching all of the hard facts like bank statements, sales records, sales history, units sold, everything about the product. Now, also the thing that you need to do too is that you need to definitely have your logo, the name of your product, the name of your company. If you have a slogan, have it trademarked. You've got to have it legally protected, because in a presentation situation, all of those things need to be purchased. So if a company is not only, they got to understand, they're not only buying the product, but they're going to buy the trademarks, they're going to buy all of the legalities that go along with it, being that you own the trademark, being that the packaging is going to be transferred ownership over to them. Everything about the entire product from A to Z is going to be something that they're going to be interested in. And that is super important. Definitely keep that in mind. Every aspect of your product from top to bottom is going to be looked at, scrutinized, and basically either said yes or no, whether or not they're interested in the product, based on all of these parameters, and of course based on your sales pitch. So if you begin to kind of contemplate the idea that, you know what, I have a great product and it has the potential to be a product that I could sell, or even the company itself, to a bigger company, such as what happened with the Justin's Nut Butter Company, make sure you have all of your T's crossed and all of your I's dotted, and make sure that you've got a great sound sales pitch down pat, all of your numbers, everything about it, before you even think of approaching a big company. Because the other factor that you want to keep in mind, and this will be the last little bit about this, they get approached by a lot of companies. There's a lot of mom and pops, there's a lot of small startups, and I would not hesitate to say that probably thousands a month, or even hundreds of thousands of inquiries over the span of a month, 2 months, 3 months, come into these companies all the time. So One of the great things, I'm going to actually do a separate video about this, this website, is one called rangeme.com. And it is actually a brand new platform that's only a couple years old, but it brings together all of these major companies, these major grocery chains. The buyers, the corporate buyers, go through RangeMe, and you as a food producer create a listing. Very similar to how you do it on like eBay or Amazon, where you want to have a description of the product, you want to have the photos, you want to have a history about who you are, your company, and it actually will get, how it works is that these corporations, these companies, the buyers for them, will take a look through RangeMe at the different products within different categories that they are looking to buy from. And if there's something of interest, you'll actually get an email from a buyer and say, hey, look, I want to take a look at a sample, et cetera, and then move forward. So I'm going to do a separate video to explain exactly how RangeMe works, but that is a great way also to present a product to some of these corporate grocery buyers for these big chains like Whole Foods, Kroger's, and you're looking at Wegmans and a whole bunch of other ones across the country. And I think that their system, their database actually has thousands of companies now. So with that being said, I hope that explains a little bit about the idea of pitching a food product. Before you do it, make sure you follow a lot of these things that I was mentioning about. Check into the legalities of it, have yourself protected, even possibly get legal representation or a lawyer who is in that field of business, and make sure that you've got disclosure agreements and all that stuff in place before you start presenting your great product idea to them. And I appreciate it. That's it. Thank you guys. And of course, if this was helpful, as always, please do give me a big thumbs up. If you had any questions about this concept and about this idea of pitching a food product, let me know down below, and I'll definitely get to it as soon as possible. So thank you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you on the next video. It's actually going to be the one about RangeMe. Take care.